rock dead. Put you in the dirt, bitches off of your head. I'm always working, you know I don't rest. Bitch, we don't play, you should.
If you don't work, then you better off dead. Put you in the dirt, bitch, it's off with your head. I'm always lurking, you know I don't rest. Bitch, we don't play, you should really be stressed. Bitch, I be 24/7, never ending, descending into another dimension. Up at the walls, caving in, caving in. I guess I'm prepared for the end. Ghosts inside my home, feel like I'm too weak to fight them. No, I'm not alone, I did not invite them. They just walk right in with a grin, hear them screaming. I'm fiending and lower I go. From under the grave, come the snakes and the false ones that take the shape of saviors. I rain down the horror, disregard your faith. There's no saving the lost ones. When you see the face, it's too late, you'll be all gone.
If you don't work, then you better rock dead. Put you in the dirt, bitches off.
Hey, what's going on, you beautiful people? Welcome back to our Call of Duty Zombies video. I am the Canadian Zombie Guys, and today I'm going to be making a follow-up video, or I guess you can call it a part 2 to my last video, Unpopular Call of Duty Zombies opinions. I put it out there at the end of the video that if you guys liked it, let me know in the comments section, and you guys did, and you wanted more. So I decided to make an episode 2, and if you guys really like this stuff and you want me to make this into a series and do different twists on it every week or something like that, let me know in the comments section below, because I would love to do that. I love making these videos. They've been lots of fun. So just let me know. Whatever you guys want to see, I'll make it. That's just how I like to make the content right now. It's how I view it. So just let me know in the comments section. So without any further ado, we'll just jump into this video with our first unpopular opinion. Alright, now Mr. Cheesecake32 comes in saying that the box needs to have bad weapons in it again. Now, I can't speak exactly for Black Ops 4 and the variety of weapons that were in the box there because I don't have the knowledge on that, but I can speak to what Black Ops 3 was and everything before Black Ops 3. And when I used to look at the box, there used to be so many different varieties of weapons in it that it actually made it fun, and it made the name of it actually more realistic. The mystery box, you had no idea what you were going to get. When we go to Black Ops 2, it's the same premise as it was in Black Ops 1 and World at War. You don't know what you're going to get. Random guns, good guns, bad guns, the whole lot of it. Everything was random. Then when we got into Black Ops 3, it was still random, obviously, because you never know what you're going to get. But the issue was that with Black Ops 3, there wasn't really any bad guns, like, at all. The worst guns that I can think about getting from the box on, like, Black Ops 3 are maybe, like, the 48 Dredge. And that's just because I feel like it's a waste of ammo. You know, maybe the Pharaoh and maybe like an SVG. And those weapons there aren't even bad weapons. Are they good weapons? No, they're not the most convenient and the best to use, but they're not bad in any sense. They're going to kill zombies. They're going to be effective. But when you compare it to guns like the War Machine, when you compare it to guns like the SMR, and even to the ballistic knife in some sense, those weapons were actually bad. Yes, the ballistic knife served a purpose with the point of reviving teammates, but we didn't even have that other than with the those shadow claws on Grod Crovey. So this whole argument that point of the box needing to be bad again, I definitely agree with, and I think that Black Ops 5 or whatever the next trailer Call of Duty is should definitely look into bringing back some meme weapons, just because it brings in more variety, more fun, and just a better all, you know, environment and overall theme to the map and to zombies when you're playing with friends, because you can have this variety of getting a bad weapon. You have the chance of getting bad meme weapons, and I think that needs to be brought back into Call of Duty Zombies. So definitely agree with your opinion, Mr. Cheesecake. Now, Hopetown27 comes in here saying that the Pentagon Thief is the best boss in all of Call of Duty Zombies, and that 5 is a top 10 map for him personally. Now, what is very interesting is that I actually agree with him in the sense that not 5 is a top 10 map of all time, but for the fact that the Pentagon Thief is definitely, in my opinion, a top 5 boss of all time. Now, the reason I think that is because when I look at Call of Duty Zombies and I look at a boss and I look at what it means to the map, it needs to be 3 things. It needs to fit the map, so it needs to work. It needs to help complement the map, like Brutus does so well, like the Panzer does on every map it's featured in. It works well with it, right? So it needs to complement the map. You need to have a element of the map that makes it rewarding so that he's not too difficult to kill, but he's like a challenge still, so you need to make it a balance, perfectly balanced in that sense, like the Panzer is and stuff like that, if you know how to kill him properly and use elements of the map to help kill him there. And then the third big thing is that it needs to give you a reward. You need to be able to get something beneficial from killing a boss, whether that be a drop, whether that be a part, whether it be anything. You need to have some reason for killing him, because if not, it's just a pain in the ass every single time he spawns in. And when we look at the Pentagon Thief, yes, he can be a pain in the ass, but the reward he gives you is insane. The bonfire sale is one of those things I wish would have come back in Call of Duty Zombies in the past, because it's such a good drop, and it's a unique drop. I think it could have worked in so many other maps too as a reward if you kill the boss zombie successfully, or you do something in a different way. We've had it so that you can get extra free perks if you kill a zombie properly with the jumping jacks, and that you don't waste any ammo when your accuracy is 100%. So why can't we have something like that with, you know, the Pentagon Thief and with the bonfire sale? On Buried, you can go through the witch's house and get free perks and get basically a perkaholic by doing doing nothing but going to Pack-a-Punch. So when we actually look at this, it's very interesting, and I definitely can understand why he thinks that, and I kind of agree with him, and it's an interesting opinion, because not a lot of people do agree with this, because they think the Pentagon Thief, is this kind of asshole. It just comes in and jacks your gun and is impossible to kill. But if you can kill him properly, and you're prepared enough for him, I think the reward is awesome, and because of that reward, just puts him in the top 5 for me personally. Alright, now Danger Dude comes in here saying that the simpler and easier to progress through a map, the better. Now what makes this interesting is that I don't really agree with him in the sense that every map should be simple and easy. I think that there just needs to be a better balance between survival maps and obviously like an Easter egg and main based map like what we have in Zombies today. When I look at Black Ops 2, I see a perfect balance of types of maps. You've got Buried, which is an Easter egg filled map with lots to do, but it's a lot simpler than what Origins is, right? And a lot simpler than what Mob of the Dead is. And then we have maps that are like Town, that are like Nuketown, that are very simple, even Farm and I would say Bus Depot, that are just very simple, basic survival maps. And then when we get into Black Ops 3, other than the Giant and the addition of Chronicle maps, there was nothing simple like that. We had one map in the Giant that was a simple survival map. Other than that, there was no other variety. So I think that a variety with the types of maps needs to be brought back to Zombies, but I don't necessarily think that every map should be simple. I think that there are better suited maps to be more complex, and there are better suited maps to be more, simple and survival based. So with all of that being said, I definitely agree with Danger Dude in the sense that simple survival maps should be brought back, but they shouldn't overtake the Easter egg maps that are so good and so complex and make Zombies what it is today. Now, Chase comes in here saying that Die Rise is a fun map for high rounds post-Liquefier patch. Now, honestly, pre-Liquefier patch, post-Liquefier patch, it doesn't matter to me. I've never liked Die Rise. It's actually, honestly, my least favorite Zombies map of all time. Nonetheless, I can still understand the appeal for a lot of people to go back and play it. I do, for one, like playing it for high rounds. I think it's fun. If there was a way for me to just start playing on like round 20, all completely set up with zombies running around, I would play it. I would play Die Rise, because I think that in that element, there are elements to it that where I like for high rounds, right? There are elements to it. Like I stated earlier in the video, guys, I do think there are elements to every Zombies game and map that are redeeming and fun to play. Like each map is unique in that sense, so I can find something unique about each map to go back and play it for. But when I look at Die Rise, I don't really see it as anything more as a boring parkour map, and that's just my opinion of it, and I can understand people's difference in opinion, but for me, I think it is unfun. I think that the Solidifier, while being a great wonder weapon, I think that it doesn't mean it makes up for the amount of parkour, jumping, and how much of a maze that map really is. So overall, because of that, I definitely don't agree with this opinion, but I can understand the appeal for why people like Die Rise so much, and why they think it is a very fun map. So Chase, I understand why you like Die Rise, and I'm happy you like Die Rise, so keep on playing it. Don't let anyone tell you differently. Just, it's not a map for me. Now, Streamer comes in saying that World at War maps are boring, even in BO1 at Chronicles. I don't like their simplicity. I'd much rather have a map with tons of things to do. Now, I can understand where a player like this is coming from within Zombies, but what makes it interesting to me is that, as someone who loves Zombies as a whole, I can't play complex maps time in and time again all day non-stop. Like, I would without Chronicles and Black Ops 3, the balance of maps would be ridiculous. With Chronicles in Black Ops 3, I can go and play a simple World at War map, have some fun, train a little bit, survive without any pack-a-punch, just, a good old school time at Zombies. And then I can go play a complex map like Shadows of Evil, like Origins, like Horizon Drac, do an Easter egg, upgrade my bows, do all these things on wonder weapons and all these things, and have a great time there as well. So I can understand where he's coming from, saying that, he thinks that they're boring and too simple, but I think without that balance of simplicity in Zombies, that the game mode would have never got to where it was today. So I disagree with that there, because I think that although maps can be simple and maybe to some people boring, that doesn't necessarily make them bad and not fun to play. Now, my boy Carter is coming in here saying something that's very controversial, yet very, very true, I think, and I'm going to explain why I think this is very true. He says that in Black Ops 4, Chaos was superior to Ether. Now, this is a very, very true statement, and if you're panicking and freaking out right now thinking that I don't like the Ether storyline, you're wrong. What I'm going to say here is strictly map-based only. In my opinion, I think that Black Ops 4 with the Chaos maps were better made and better developed maps than anything to do with what the Ether storyline was. Now, let me explain my reasoning. first off, my personal opinion, and a lot of other people's opinions as well, 9 is the best map on Black Ops 4. Now, in that sense, 9 is already chaos, so that already kind of points it map-based in the right direction. There are other maps, obviously, that we can look at where, yes, we can see that chaos maps weren't very good, that being Voyage of Despair. But then, in my opinion, I would still rather play Voyage of Despair to mess around and screw around on than I would rather play Alpha and Omega. Now, the reasoning for that is nothing to do with the storyline. It's just based off the fact that I think that in Black Ops 4, the Chaos maps are more creative and more fun to play on in any sense than what Ether is. I would much rather play any of the crappy BO4 Chaos maps than go back and play any of the Ether maps really on that game. Now, that's just my opinion. I don't like Tagger Toten. I don't like Alpha Omega. I don't like Blood of the Dead. The only map I don't even mind from the Ether storyline, I guess, is Classified, and even then, that's a very basic map in its sense, so there's nothing really there and innovative about it. So when I look at Black Ops 4, I really agree with this. Every map that I would go back and see myself playing in Black Ops 4 is chaos. So because of that reasoning alone, I really agree with this opinion, and I definitely think other people should take that into consideration and look at maybe their opinion on it, because we shit a lot on chaos as a community, right? But when we actually look at it, without chaos in BO4, zombies would be even shittier, in my opinion, in that game than it already is. Alright, now this is a very interesting tweet, and I want everyone to comment what they think in the comment section below, obviously. Let me know what your opinions are on this tweet, because I'm very, hung up on it, because I've never really heard this opinion before. Ukulele Birds is coming in here saying that Deadshot is underpriced at 1,500 points. Now, for me, I have no real understanding why you would think that, because Deadshot, to me, is just a complimentary perk. Like, you're not going to buy it to run it with just 4 perks in general. You only are ever going to use it if you have a perk or you're running more than 4 perks. And in that sense, yeah, you can notice it and it complements everything well, but no one's going to buy Deadshot and run it as one of their 4. I don't know anybody that does that on any map. Even on Mob of the Dead, where your perk selection is very limited, I don't know anybody that does that. So because of that reasoning alone, I have no idea why you would think that it's $1,500 for a perk that is almost honestly useless, in a sense that you could just do what it's doing for you without spending $1,500. Like, you just aim at the head without paying money for it, so it to auto do it. Like, I just don't understand this perk, and I don't understand how you could think that $1,500 for a useless perk is, underpriced, because Deadshot isn't really, useful at all. So for $1,500, I don't understand how that could be even. Like, I think that's overpriced, so I'm just curious what your guys' thoughts are. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on this one, boys. Alright, so I'm going to try to do a rapid fire on this one for Slots' reply on the tweet. So here we go. He says Shadows of Evil is the best zombies map ever. It's definitely in my top 3. It bounces around between being my number 1 and number 2, and number 3 kind of just bounces around a lot, but it's definitely up there for me, so I agree with that. Then he goes on to say that Black Ops 2 has had bad zombies with only 2 great maps, 1 good map. I disagree there, because as much as I don't think, Die Rise and Transit are the best maps, I definitely think there are elements of them that make them fun and replayable, so I don't think it's bad. And every zombies game, to me, every zombies map has something that makes it fun to play. Even the bad ones, there's elements of it that are decent, right? So everything there, I disagree with that. Then he goes on to say that World at War has the best weapons in the series. If any zombies player disagrees with this opinion, I think you're pretty much wrong, or you've never played World at War, because they're the best guns in the series for zombies. They're the best suited, they're the coolest, they sound great, they look great, they're just a lot of fun to use, and there's a lot of variety as well. Then he goes on to say that Verrückt is a good map. Now, if you watched episode 1 of this series of Unpopular Opinions, you would know that I already think Verrückt is one of the most replayable maps on Chronicles, and a great map in general, so I definitely agree with that there. And then he goes on to say that denizens aren't the worst part of Transit, and they're not. If anyone thinks they are, you're wrong. The worst part about Transit is the pack-a-punch system, the bus abandoning your ass every time you get to somewhere important that you want to train and survive and buy things, and having to obviously deal with the lava with no perk to help, diminish that damage. Those are the worst parts about Transit. And then he goes on to say that that's all his hot opinions. So I want to thank Slots for submitting on all those opinions. They were awesome to read. And let's get on to our next list, or next tweet, or whatever you want to call these, next unpopular opinion. Now, I wanted to put this tweet in the video because I think it's a very interesting topic that needs to be touched upon. Professional Chad says that Derice is one of the most overrated maps of all time. Now, he is not wrong. It is overrated as hell. But the only reason it's overrated and considered one of the top best maps of all time is because at the time it was released, and for quite a few many years, it was the best map of all time. Derice for the longest time was a lot of people's Origins. It was a lot of people's Mob of the Dead. And when you take that into consideration, you can see why it's been kind of revered as one of the best maps of all time, just because of what nostalgia has really done for the people's opinions on this map. You know, especially the original World at War Derice. Like, that map is not the best in my opinion. I think the Giant is honestly better than it. I would rather play the Giant than that one, just because I like Black Ops 3 better than World at War. But nonetheless, I definitely can see why people think it's overrated, and I wanted to put this in the video because I think it's an interesting topic to touch upon. I think that yes, while Derice is overrated, its high praise is it's earned, because it's been the rock in the community. It's been the rock basically in all zombies for like forever. When you need a map to go back and play on casually with friends, you almost always either going to pick Kino or you're going to pick Derice, and it's just depending on what game you have. And now in Black Ops 3 you can pick technically between both. So I definitely think that this opinion is valid, but at the same time I can understand why people appraise and value Derice so high on their list, is just because of what nostalgia really does for people, especially in the zombies community. So I think due to nostalgia, that's the reason why for this opinion and for this thought to be brought up a lot. And that's going to wrap the video up here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot to me. Let me know in the comment section down below what your unpopular opinions are about Call of Duty Zombies, and I'll feature them in the next episode of this series. Again, thank you for all the support on all the videos. It means a lot to me. So yeah, peace out.